Please hold.
Okay, that's okay. Oh, there's the minutes right there. She gave them to all of us. Got it.
Yeah, they should be pinned.
Yeah.
Of course, not. It's gonna take forever to load.
It does sometimes.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it's going now.
Oh,
This is the part that takes the longest, so if you just get it going,
Okay.
a couple of minutes, it just loads. It was lagged the other night for the board meeting. If you ever are here by yourself and this does not work, it doesn't stop the meeting, just let them go.
Okay.
That is not mandatory, so.
And then just like close it out, right? Because then you'll get.
You won't hear the feedback, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, yep, close it right out.
Alrighty, that's okay. We're just waiting for. Okay, let's call to order the planning board meeting for the town of Mendon, Wednesday, October 2nd. The first item on our agenda is to approve the minutes from the July 17th planning board meeting. Anybody have any questions? Any comments? Would someone like to make a motion that we approve that? Motion. Nicole, and second by Earl. Okay, so Nicole and Earl. And then we will move on to the first item that is on our agenda. Oh, I always forget to vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I'm abstaining.
You're abstaining.
Okay, I refuse.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so we're good. All right. Can you just make sure that the meeting minutes reflect that, Teresa, abstained?
Yep.
Okay. So the next item on our agenda is the Conadorio, is that how you say Conadorio?
Doria.
I am so bad with names, but, the Ridgecrest, they live site plan, and Joe and Roberta. And from what I understand here is you are resubmitting your site plan because you're moving your,
We took the driveway and then moved the house.
Yeah,
oh, so you're moving the house a little bit.
we wanted a bigger backyard, and right now, the houses that are being built next to it are a lot closer to the road, and ours is really far set back. So we wanted to move it up a little bit to get a bigger backyard, and then mirror the house with the driveway and the garage are on the side where the wind is hitting. Yep, and that way we have the view of the sun setting on the other side and part of our house, for the sunrise.
When are you hoping to start to build?
Spring.
Spring, okay.
Ideally, we'd like to have the kids in the school district by fall next year.
By next fall,
Yeah.
Right,
that makes sense, right?
trying to get a clean break before our 8-year-old gets too attached.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that, like, trying to make the timing just right. Okay, so does anyone here have any questions about this? The one thing I want to comment on is that I don't have a full set of site plans. Like, I have this, which was submitted, but I don't have the rest of the pages.
Did you have details on things
The
like that? Was
details?
there anything else in the set or just this sheet?
It's just this sheet because we just reversed the house plan, the whole subdivision plan didn't change.
Yeah, nothing else changed. The
So the
septic-
subdivision plan didn't change, but the site plan changed, right? Because the driveway's going in a different place and the house is being moved. And did that affect the septic at all?
No, rotated on access and according to the. Corey, I'm blanking on right now, that's fine with the margins, we already had the approval, so we didn't need to do anything.
Okay, so it was still within the margins of,
Correct.
okay.
Yeah,
It's just rotating on in terms that everyone started using.
Okay. All right, and before I throw this out to the rest of you, there's a couple of things that I did note on what we do have here. Is that your residence is not in Ontario County, it's in Monroe County, and it states that it says Town of Mendon, Ontario County.
Okay.
Over here on this, like, over here, it says center line of driveway on subdivision plan, which is where you were gonna put the driveway. So I don't know. I don't know about that. And I'm also, some things I'd just like to get some clarification on is, the drainage. The utilities, it says underground electrical service, but is this driveway going in here gonna affect any of that, the wastewater? I mean, it's probably stuff that I think, well, I'll put this out to anybody else who has any questions. Those are just a few things that I noticed. Sure. So. Any
It
questions?
shouldn't change, so the original plan you guys approved, we didn't change any of the minimums or any of that stuff. We just took the house, flipped it.
Right, and then the mirror still, and I believe still accounted for the 2 side drains accordingly to that. On the property line, correct?
Yeah, the drainage swales didn't change on either property line.
And it's not gonna change with the new driveway being put there?
No, no, we kept it away from the drainage there.
And then the utility box, I think, stays where it is on that other part of it, correct?
Yeah, because
That's already, that's the
next to
easement,
us.
that's the 100 foot that can't be done in case you guys develop your phase 3, which is then put a road down the back of it and then into the fields, I guess is what you would call it. And that's after your, I don't remember the steps, I'm sorry, but that's after it starts going down Miles Square Road and the
Yeah.
other part of it.
Just to be clear, this is lot
The read is what we were told.
3.
So if you
It
go.
seems like it used to be lot 5.
It did, yeah, they changed it,
so
yes, they did, and so.
That does.
So the one on Taylor Road, the house
Wow.
that's being built, it's the one right to the left of it.
Yeah,
So if you're heading right past the fire hall on your left and you're heading down, I believe that's Taylor, right? Correct?
it's right past my house.
It's right past Miles Square and then go right.
Because this tax number here reflects the old lot 5.
Yeah, no, it's lot 3 on all the official blueprints per your last approval on that side of it and what we got on that paper, but it was lot 5 before. Correct. Wish I would have bought that big book now, because it literally has all the paperwork, it says lot 3 for Rich Press on.
Is it a raised bed, it looks like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be an issue, I'm not sure, I guess I'm just throwing this out as a question. The 20-foot easement for the public sidewalk is kind of straddling your leach field, which is a raised bed.
Yeah, it was before.
Is that,
It was
does
before as
anyone
well,
see
when
that
it was
as a
that,
problem?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So this is a 20-foot easement to the town of Mendon for, potential sidewalk.
Mhm.
We don't know where the sidewalk's gonna be at, in that 20 feet.
Right.
But that's straddling their raised bed septic. It's also
Wow.
straddling the swale that's here, so someday if that gets paved with sidewalk. What does that do to your drainage at the
Oh, yeah.
east end of that?
well, that's how the swells were before, and then we just rotated the septic. So it was overlapping accordingly when it was in a diamond shape for the other part of it, and according to town builder, the reason they did it in a diamond shape in the beginning was based on the topographical mass. And that's what they said was the default. Again, I am far from an expert on this, so please correct me, I'm just kind of regurgitating what we were told. But with us, the land being so level, flat,
Yeah.
the
it's hard to
grading,
make that.
the grading should be able to be redone to help with the drainage and accordingly do that. Same with your sidewalk part of it, nothing really changed on those end parts.
I'm less
From our
concerned with the drainage swale than I am with it overlapping your leach field. I don't know.
I can
mean,
try and
is that
pull up
what-
the other one if
that's
you
a
would
problem?
I,
and see.
Yeah, if you look at the
That was
original
good.
subdivision, it was already overlapping, because I.
Regardless, though, at some point, would that create a problem if there's going to be construction within that easement that will be disturbing your leach field?
Earl, can it do that?
I mean, it's right at the end, it's not near
you
those
see,
lines, really.
she's talking, so there's gonna be an easement for the, there's gonna be an easement for the
Right.
sidewalk. And
Which
it's
isn't
cross-
filed yet.
That's not filed yet, which needs to be filed.
Right.
It's gonna, now that I don't have their original site plan, but what Teresa's saying is that, once they construct that sidewalk, it's overlapping the,
Exactly. What we don't know is the elevation, what that sidewalk is going to be relative to the road.
Right, and that's also a raised bed septic.
Right, and it's right, it's a septic,
Try and look for the.
and that's the paper
agreement.
portion, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a problem because the original subdivision plan had that overlap already, so I thought that it was already considered.
It's more a concern for you guys as the homeowner.
Right, to make sure that it's not
Right.
gonna affect that overall and going from there. And that's where it comes down to, what was the original, like, again, we're relatively new to this, so I apologize, but with the original plan having the overlap as well, what would you guys normally do in that case?
I wish we had that original in front of us.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep looking and see.
Because the
Because-
theoretical sidewalk elevation is gonna affect your driveway elevation also coming in, so you're not gonna wanna put a driveway in until you know what that elevation of sidewalk would be.
So
Lauren,
what's the difference? So I guess
There
this
might be a
is where I'm-
file in front of you with the
I'm confused.
original.
The original plan was approved on that side of it, and if we're just flipping that, and it is more of a flat land. I believe we were keeping the same elevations for the driveway that was there originally. I think,
Did that original plan show, I don't think it showed a leach field or anything like that.
Oh, here we-
think
I might
just
have
showed
it.
the
That's
divisions.
just the
Did it?
Yeah, I got it here showing it's the diamond.
This one was drawn by Glenn,
yes.
Okay.
right? Am I correct? Okay, so I'm
And
so
Thornton
confused.
Engineering,
So Glenn drew the original one.
yeah.
And now you've changed engineers to,
Chuck said we can do that.
Well, no, I'm the architect for the house, so I.
but you're not the, okay, but you're not the engineer then. No, I mean, I'm just saying that you're an architect. Okay, you're an architect, right?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, see, it totally misses it, right?
Well, let's see, 20.
And it's
is the
angular.
easement showing on here or not? I don't think it is. is it?
I don't. they
Yeah, on the
got-
August 22 drawing,
Yeah,
it doesn't overlap.
no, it doesn't.
No.
Can we approach the bench?
Usually you're up here.
Usually we ask you to come up. I don't know. I just, like, we haven't met for a couple weeks, so I guess I'm.
This is angular,
Okay.
that is square with the road.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
But
Here you missed the paper.
Showing
Here
the
you're
10 foot minimum. from-
What is that?
But does this show the easement? I'm not seeing.
Let me look at the easement though. That's my question.
Doesn't
I don't
show
think
the-
they showed the
The
easement on.
easement isn't even on that.
Right, so then
It's
we
not
would have no way of bringing that up because it was not on the drawing, so we wouldn't have seen that there was an overlap.
Oh, got you.
I thought they had to add the easement before we bought the land though. Cause I think you guys required the easement to be
Yeah.
added before we bought
That
it.
easement was on the plan, because I didn't make that up.
I think
It's
there's
not my
another
job.
one after this.
All right, so go on again. I'm using.
Maybe a layer was off and I didn't print it.
and I just want to find that your direction. Let me just see.
Yeah. That's what is, see, that's 10 feet, and then the easement is 100 feet, so that's right.
See,
I feel bad. Are you sure?
Yeah, right.
I actually do invite you, the applicants to come sit at the.
Okay, what do you touch across this
Yeah,
corner?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
No, you're not having trouble
We
at
were
all.
allowing 10 feet
Um,
there. And we're. this
so,
is here.
Is there a, is there a reason that Glenn did not draw this, like,
Well, we're working with the architect and
Keep
then.
going,
We talked to Corey and we were saying like,
keep going.
we weren't even sure we
To get
needed
all-
site plan approval because we were just doing the flipping of the house and the turning of the septic. And when we were working with him, he was like, well, you just need to change those few things in the file. So we didn't think we needed to get another architect to do that. We had the CAD
Engineer.
file.
engineer?
Because we
Engineer,
got the
yeah.
CAD file from Glenn with. And this is like process. We got with Nick's approval because we bought the land overall. We sent the CAD file, they flipped and changed, and that's where this came into effect right from there. And we checked to make sure that we could rotate the septic on its axis. And that still hit margins and that still made the drainage good. And that's where we were. And that's where we.
And then by moving the house forward, they had to rotate the septic to this point.
Well,
And that
from,
puts you into the easement.
from when we talked, they didn't move that up though. That's where I'm confused on how that, so if you look at this part of it, can I,
Oh, yeah, go
okay,
ahead.
This is the old one.
sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
The other.
So if you look at that part of it, when you move the house up, all that should have happened on that one is we twisted it because it still keeps the 10 minimum. And so if you look here. Or right here, yeah, sorry, the 10 minimum is right there, and that's what we used as reference to see if it was okay or not. So if you look at this 10 minimum there.
that 10 minimum goes to the edge of the leach field there, but if you look at it here, theoretically, in my mind, and I could be completely wrong, because again, I am not the expert by any stretch of the imagination. Like that 10 minimum is where the line would be, right? Like, so if you look at this, this is above, this easement that we're worried about is above the
Right,
10 minimum, correct?
But here they show 20 foot way back to here for the easement.
Correct, but where's the 20? And Chuck, that's yours, so that's what I'm confused about.
So this is the easement,
Correct.
okay, and then it looks like this portion here of your septic, or your leach field is overlapping that, so that means technically that you're giving up just 20 feet to the town of Mendon.
Yes, for sidewalks and other maintenance
Right,
and general
so
properties.
what if?
Correct.
What if there's construction around here and there's disturbance to your leach field? Will that be a problem?
Well, again, I point out that in your approved plans, you had it within 10
Yeah,
feet.
and I want to show, this is what I want, so this.
That's what, no, we can show on the approved.
You know, is there a reason
It
why
wasn't drawn,
you
so we don't.
didn't go
have
back to
anything
Glenn and just
We
ask
just
him
want-
to redo this?
We did.
It is right here.
It was
$5,000 for.
It was 50.
All
right. Hold on a minute, everybody. We can't have everybody cross talking, okay? We gotta, it's everybody.
When they turned it, now
But
it's
the
15
easement line
feet.
is not shown.
Yeah, so one thing I do know,
Easement Line is not, but
That's the problem.
it's from the right of
the
way.
easement's not on there, is that it?
Correct. On the original
Yeah.
approved one, there's no easement shown.
It was, yeah, and I think it was conditioned, the approval was conditioned on drawing the easement onto the map.
And we did see a file with the easement on it. But I only have the CAD file in my emails, which I can't open. I don't have the.
So once the easement was drawn on there, then the problem was revealed, it looked like.
Yeah, when they sent us the latest file, the easement was drawn
Yes.
because you guys asked.
Right, but we never thought they just had added. property.
Yeah. So you didn't know it was an issue.
But now we do.
Okay,
And is there,
It looks like you'd only have to move
So,
it back 5 feet.
We
Clear
can move
that.
it back. Yeah, we can move it back.
so,
Yeah.
okay,
true.
that
Even
explains
though
it, because
we're
my,
we-
Well, then you'll be,
what does it do if it's within a leach field? This is just me.
we don't know, we're on.
It looks like you have-
So I have no idea.
I'm 15 feet right.
it looks like you had 5 feet to spare and still be 20 feet from the house.
Yep,
So we would just have to move it back.
yep,
Fair,
yep, that's it.
so.
I agree with that. I
I
think
don't
that's a
think
good
it's a
one.
lot, it's like, so. Up to you. Yeah.
I don't know, guys, I feel like we're in a pickle here. What do you think?
Well, I mean, they said they're willing to move it back,
You can
so.
move it back, and I think you have the space to do it. I think
Yeah.
that's a no-brainer because
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want to have.
You don't wanna have-
Moving it back is right, that, I mean, that's not an issue, but I mean, the drawing part of it, like, I don't know, do you think?
What do you mean, Lauren?
Well, what I mean is that we don't have the full site plan, right? So we have this, where the house has been flipped. We've moved this,
Open
And
up
we
the
can-
other one, Lauren, so everyone can see what you're talking about. Open up the originally.
there it is right there.
Yeah, just go ahead and open that up so people can see.
I
what
was
you're
gonna say, we
doing.
were told like. That was all you guys needed, because we're not changing anything else from the original site plan, so to me, I guess I don't understand what you mean by we don't have the full site. plan.
Well, so the driveway you have is here,
Correct.
right? This originally.
Yep.
So now you're moving it over here.
Yes, and then, I'm sorry, just before you move forward with that one, and that's where we called the superintendent of transportation.
The highway
Hi,
superintendent.
thank you, yes, I apologize. And that was for the sightline questions that you guys had when we had that part of it. And he wrote the email that we did attach, I believe, to there that said he wasn't worried about it, because he was more worried about the hillside where the driveway originally was. Because when he comes up over that with the plow, and if it's too close, it doesn't give him enough time to stop, but moving it closer to the road actually, or the intersection actually helps him.
I
was the
had
last
actually
point.
asked him to put that comment on town letterhead. So that we had a little more information regarding that too, but.
Well, he
just sent an
responded to
email.
the email and said he had no concerns.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, this is this original site plan and
Correct.
that's what they've submitted is what the chair.
I'm
Sorry. No.
I just don't, I like the way this looks. I mean, it looks like. Where everything is. But that's not, I mean, it's not me. I mean, we're a whole board here. And so I defer to my experts who are you,
Not a problem.
Earl. You don't have a problem with it?
Not at all. I'd like to see move the electric, as long as you change it, move the electric over out of that drainage ditch.
Okay.
You're gonna
So-
have a soft ditch and you're running out of water to.
So with the electric and the side of it, and this is just because we don't know that part of it, this is the utility right here on that one, and it shows there
Okay,
on that
this
one,
transformer right there.
right there, right?
Yep.
So that was that's already there, that's how I found the plot of land, we use that to kind of mark off, because your easement starts right after that, on this side for the 100 feet here.
And our G&E's gonna come off that transformer anyway.
Okay,
They're not gonna put out.
they're gonna come from there to there, which is great, because then you don't have to worry about the driveway or any other
Yeah.
part of it that way.
What do you think, Teresa? What would be your comment in your,
I think I think this is fine. No,
Is it?
you know,
Okay.
As far as viewing it the way you have. I think we do need to see the site plan corrected though, to move it to where we
To the
want.
back and then.
Yeah,
that's
and
what
as
the
long as you're
easement-
doing that, a couple other things.
Sure.
We'll put you in the right town.
Yeah.
yeah, put it in the.
And then if you could add the footprint dimensions to the building, I think that would be helpful for someone who's reviewing it. And then if you could locate this with a triangle or something like that, where your entrances are on the building, I think that would,
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
you know, wherever your front entrance is, whatever.
We have an entrance right here.
Yeah.
We have an entrance right here.
It's kind of rough.
Oh, pretty.
It's gonna be on one of your main roads and you gotta drive up and see it. We tried to get some good windows that show that. It's why sorry, I didn't mean to throw in that part of it, but yes, that's so we'd have an entrance in the front and then the main, one of the main entrances on the side.
Are you drawing, did you draw my house? Cause this looks just like my house. And we did the same thing. We flipped.
Yeah.
We flipped it.
We,
Like,
because when we walked the field, the wind was there, and so having that not on the
Mhm.
master side and on the garage is gonna be.
yeah,
And you get a lot more of the better views of Mendon, which is kind of why we wanted to go there, bring that farm town and that part back to us a little bit, so.
Yeah. So.
Sure.
What I'm seeing here is the first floor footprint, correct?
yes.
Correct, yes.
You have a basement egress window or a door? What's?
Egress window
or
currently.
It seems like, do you know what your elevation of the basement slab is gonna be? Because I think we should see that noted on this plan, maybe as a note next to where your emergency egress.
Okay.
door is. Cause you wanna make sure you have enough, I guess. Your window can't be too high off of the slab, so it has to be a certain number of inches off of the slab. So if your basement is really deep basement and your grade's at 622, you
Okay,
have to make sure that window works, and I'm sure your architect.
yes,
will
and
make sure.
the window is actually, you can see almost, and Chuck, based on your elevations, right? The basement window
Yeah,
is some,
it's within code of the slab.
And-
But, yeah, I think it's a good plan to note that, so when they're doing the grading for the site plan, they'll realize that we need that grade for a reason.
Yeah.
So,
Now, does the grade accommodate that egress, or are you gonna have an aerial well?
Well, it's just a window, right?
it's just a window,
So you
correct?
could do it with just.
Yes,
way you
and I
have
think
it.
his original plan right now is no well, based on the drawings that we got shown, it was no well and just windows, is that correct, Chuck?
yeah, the way we've graded, we don't need a well, so it's a
Okay.
very nice.
That's
big-
nice, that's
nice
good.
Yeah,
window.
we have one currently where we had to redo some of our basement in Fairport, and we had to put a well in and we get no light
It's,
through it.
and it doesn't look good either, so doing it the way you've done it with the grade, and hopefully the window works, I think that's much better. Well,
Nicole, you have any
I
questions?
do not.
How about you? No questions? Okay, so somewhere in amidst of all of this. I have a draft resolution,
You're gonna
which
wanna
from
put
all the
like-
things that we talked about,
identify
Don, do you
lots for-
see anything
that's not
else that we
street.
need to add to the, that we need to add to the resolution from all the conversation that we've had?
Okay, so let me just. Yeah, you want me to just kind of lay it out and we can look at the conditions?
You know what, would you mind?
Go
That
through
would
it?
be much
Yeah, sure.
easier, yeah.
Does everyone have a copy of the proposed resolution? I have extras if you don't. Yeah, actually, why don't you leave that up for now? Is that yours? Is that yours? Okay.
That's fine.
Alright.
Yeah, this is how I, I think there's a.
So I just want you to understand. What the chairwoman was attempting to communicate. I don't know if
Please
they
do.
understood you.
Yeah, no, I
Just so,
didn't
just
understand.
so you know
either.
what's being asked of you and what we're doing here. So original site plan, there's some conditions on it. One of them was plot this easement on there. That was done conditionally, so it was done after you approved it because it was a condition. Presumably easement was noted on there and then the map was signed and filed. So now you're seeing it here in front of the rest of you for the first time. That's why you're there. One of the, I think what the chairman was trying to communicate to you was also communicated from the building inspector in his email earlier today. And that is essentially that this map here, the amended map, this amendment that they've provided is so in an ideal world, in a strictly technical sense of the world, they would just submit a new S1 that's completely, they don't need a new grading plan or general notes. All these other ones I think are completely unchanged, right?
Correct.
These three bottom pages.
Yes.
This top page is what's being changed. And in particular, it's the, from my understanding, based on time of report, it's this rectangle that's being changed, right? So they've essentially submitted the rectangle, as far as I understand it in my correspondence with the building inspector. So it's kind of like a subset of a sheet of a site plan, which my understanding is that the building inspector is essentially taking the position that given the changes that are being proposed, given that they're relatively minor in nature, that he didn't find it necessary to prepare a new sheet S1. The downside to that is now instead of just ripping this off and putting full site plan sheet on top, now you have to keep that and this and kind of meld them together, which I guess I'll say is, in my opinion, less than optimal, but it's not really my decision about how you do it. You do have waiver authority in terms of what you require to be written on your site plans. And again, I think you can see the email yourself from the building inspector's take on this, but essentially they're asking you to accept this in lieu of a new sheet S1. And the resolution is set up based on sort of the recommendation from the building inspector to do it that way. Of course, it's up to the planning board how you want to approach the situation.
For the both site plans, I mean, for both site plans, to me, I think that regardless of whether it's on a different title block, it doesn't matter. You're showing, we have all the information we need on this sheet. I would be okay with approving the sheet, but with those changes that we asked for.
Yeah.
You know, a fresh print of it that has the corrections. I personally would be fine with this sheet. I don't know.
Yeah, the distinction is all the notes and stuff on the edges are not on this
So
new sheet.
you can have a note on here that says, you can say, you know, sheet A-0.0 is part of the original set dated, whatever that is. Please see sheet S1 for notes and whatever.
That's
You know,
what
you
I'm
could,
thinking we need to add.
yeah, you could just have a note that
A
covers it and say,
This has to reference that. sheet.
right, and then you can say, you know, for the actual site plan drawing, this is the sheet that governs or something like that.
Mhm, okay.
Yeah, and you have a condition. If you look at condition 1, take a look at condition 1 on the proposed resolution. I have copies, by the way, if you wanna, if anyone needs one.
It's the bottom of the first page.
Yeah, it says the numeral 1. Here's one for if you guys don't have one, but I'll just read it out loud. So condition 1 says that prior signatures, the amended site plan. This, do you need another one?
Yeah.
Says prior signatures, the amended site plan shall be revised to the satisfaction of the town building inspector to clarify that the amended site plan amends the original site plan only to replace the portion thereof depicting the lot itself on the original site plan at sheet S1, inclusive of the house location, driveway, etc., but that all other aspects of the original site plan sheet S1, as well as the additional sheets, shall remain as originally approved, inclusive of notes, details, etc., on sheet S1, remaining unchanged, as well as other sheets and such as grading and utility sheets remaining entirely unchanged. So that note or that condition is trying to convey the idea that we're discussing here tonight. So where we're at on the proposed resolution in terms of that issue. Does that, Teresa, explain to your satisfaction what it is that we're trying to do here?
I think it's clear to me.
Okay.
So,
So the other thing I think we'll just add in here, because we just had a few other fixes, right? The amended site plan shall be revised. Now, what are the things, so we can do one of two things. We can recite the things that we're talking about revising on it, or we can say, as dictated during the planning board meeting to the satisfaction of the planning board chair, we have a recording, or we can be neat about it and put it all in there. So it's up to the board how you'd like to recite this condition about these fixes.
So the fixes are the county changed.
What's that?
But the county changed the 5 feet back. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. To change the,
Oh, so- Did you?
Yeah, I wanted.
You have to cliff notes it,
You know
so
what
then
I
it's
know-
check
I
boxes.
worry about is I always want everything, I like things to be. Like,
Fair.
you know what I mean? I don't like, I worry when people have to go back and look at something else and then refer back to here and then refer back to there, because once you start building, lots of people have their hands on this, and if everybody has a hand on this, then we all know everyone's on the same page. When there's another piece, I feel like things might get lost in translation. That's the only thing I worried about and only for you. That's why I kept saying, what about fun? Why doesn't he just do it? That's a lot of money.
I think I'm comfortable with, yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I'm, because that was our first stop, it's just, that was a very big budgetary.
Oh, $5,000,
discussion
that's
for
a
a
huge.
flip and a thing,
Yeah.
like half hour we already
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
okay, so I
Sorry.
I'm just gonna read this to you. So, okay, so we already read condition 1.
Right.
We all understand what that says, right? Condition 2 is what we've talked about here tonight. So far, I have the prior signature, the amended site plan shall be revised to change the address to recite the correct county, to move the building and other aspects of the plan approximately 5 feet to the rear of the lot to fully accommodate the phase 2 easement. Is there anything else?
do you want to add?
Elevation of basement slab,
Oh, yeah, if you can add the elevation of the basement slab,
dimensions of building,
the footprint.
dimensions of the footprint.
And then if you could just show a little triangle locating the door, the entrances. On the site. plan.
Entry locations, and then we thought about a note about the emergency egress location.
Well, I think that was part of the elevation. wasn't
Maybe
it?
that's just part of the building part.
Yeah, that's fine. I just want to make sure you don't have to regrade anything,
Yeah.
if your basement slab was too deep.
Would you like for the chairwoman to check on these conditions or the building inspector for their satisfaction?
I think the building inspector is probably the person to go.
Okay.
Because you've been working with Corey, right along, and
Yeah.
he's very accessible. I'm accessible, but not as accessible. as
Yeah.
Fair.
so,
Okay, so
um,
Whatever your preference.
Never gonna be
is,
working
yeah.
with them, make it easier on everyone, like you said.
he's already checking the other conditions anyway.
Yeah.
So, all
So,
right, so we've got that on there, number 2, new number 2. So old number 2, new number 3 is prior to signatures that the phase 2 easement, that's for the sidewalk and utilities, needs to be provided to the town. So as it stands, there's an easement shown on the map. But we don't actually have an easement in hand that we can record. So that needs to be done. It was a condition of the original approval and we still haven't received it, to my knowledge.
Okay,
You're gonna want to work with,
Glenn and the others for that part of it,
yeah,
correct?
because
Okay.
that easement runs across, I think, 3 houses.
Right,
So that needs to be done.
okay.
And then,
Wait, I don't know if I understand that one.
So basically Glenn was supposed to, if original approval, submit a new
With
site
the
plan
sidewalk
with the sidewalk easement drawn on it. However, it appears that did not happen overall fully.
no, he drew it on, it's drawn on the recorded plan. There's a drawing that says there's gonna be an easement here, but we don't actually have an easement is a written document. We don't have that.
the county.
Oh, wait,
Oh, so it's
so
not-
that's basically the
it's not the
owner
site-
saying, so it's not on the, so the owner, it's basically us giving you something that says you're allowed to have this
Yes.
easement for the 20-foot
From the-
sidewalk.
From Monroe County.
We just have a reference to an
From-
easement that hasn't been recorded yet.
Okay, how do we do that?
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk, you're gonna have to talk to a professional attorney. A real estate attorney would typically draft an easement, or I don't know if the town has form easements. you might want to start with Corey.
Okay.
Gates.
Corey.
He might have something already that the town already has on file that says this is what we use.
Okay,
But so there's the easement itself, the language that says you can put a essentially, you can put a sidewalk here. You can put utilities here, and I'm not your attorney, so this isn't legal advice.
I told you, lawyer.
But, so there's the easement itself, and then there's the description of like where it goes, right? How
Okay.
far it stretches, and so since it stretches between other lots, there's gonna need to be some coordination there.
Okay.
Glenn may already have that written.
He might,
Okay,
But
so reach out.
Corey can reach out to Glenn and is this done? Because you're
Okay.
supposed to have it done for the other portion.
The other two houses are already building, so they must already.
Forget those two, go to the new ones going up around on Mile Square Road. You're supposed to have that easement for all of them now through there.
Oh, okay.
So he
So
may
what's
have
the-
it already written, it's laying
Yeah.
there and didn't get the funding to process it, so he may have it done and not
Just not
processed.
processed. Okay. So
Anyhow.
no Corey from that part of it.
in some, one of the conditions is, give us the written easement. Because we don't have, because as far as I know, we don't have it, but,
Okay.
Corey should be the point person on that to begin, and then you go from
One
there.
person for it, so it's kind of nice that we can.
Seems like he's the point person on a lot of things, right? Can be helpful. That's the building inspector, Corey Gates. So the fifth condition, which is the old four, says any outstanding comments of the engineer shall be addressed. It was a one-page letter, I think, with 3 comments. I don't know if any of them are outstanding. But as a standard condition, we would say address the engineer's letter. Any outstanding comments of the town building inspector, fire marshal, Corey Gates to be addressed. That's also a pretty standard condition. And then the last one just speaks to when and how those conditions are to be addressed.
Does the driveway and the highway superintendent need to be added to number 5? The moving
Um,
driveway, was the approval like?
Is there a signature block on there for the highway superintendent on the plan,
Yeah.
on the new plan?
On the new plan?
No,
Yes.
Yeah, so he's gonna have to sign off on it.
So,
So again, most of these are pretty, the easement conditions come from the underlying approvals.
Mhm.
Those are not new conditions. The new conditions are really relating to some of these changes. But I think we've gone over that.
I think that works.
Yeah.
You guys all feel comfortable? You feel comfortable again still? Yep, okay,
Can I address the chair?
sure.
So your, so the center line of the driveway, subdivision map is meant to show where it was originally.
Mhm.
So would you like me just to remove that on this map?
I think so,
it's not
because I think
confusing?
I think it could tend to be confusing,
So, yeah, I just want to let you know, I'll be removing that.
Yeah.
Just so you know that.
Yes.
That confusion is coming.
yes. Will you add it to the other side where the driveway actually is? That note,
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I see where the center line of it is, I mean, it's drawn right on there, but,
yeah, I'll make sure that there's I don't see the dimension on it, so I want to make sure there's a dimension there.
yes.
Yeah.
myself. Told you.
I told you.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Never leaving home without that cool piece of paper again.
Okay.
Okay.
You got that.
Are you good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, whew, all right. Would someone like to make a motion that we approve this amended site plan
Pursuant to the written resolution.
pursuant to the written resolution?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, you thought that, that's what I meant, right?
She just wasn't done.
I know, would someone like to make a motion? Earl,
Yes.
second? Teresa, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Abstain? Nope, congratulations, your house is flipped.
Thank you, that's awesome.
I bet you were worried.
Yeah, this is very intimidating.
No, and I should have asked you to come up originally, because I usually always do, but.
Are you guys gonna send us the updated version of this?
I'm gonna send it to them.
Okay.
And they're gonna do their magic with it
Yeah.
and
Yep, okay.
get it out.
I just wanna make sure we have it, so we make sure I need to
Check
cross
person, check.
everything.
I like it. That's good stuff. We will, I'll send it to them right now and then they'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Written.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you
All right, congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you so much.
It's so nice.
Because I saw.
I do, we can't wait.
You're prepared now, right?
Yes.
I wonder
So
why
it-
that wasn't picked up originally.
I know. So when they were posting things during a meeting like this, I have it pulled up on my computer, the resolutions, but I just like go ahead and change it on the fly. Then I save it and I send you the updated version of it, so you can save it and then distribute it to them and. or you can- I just sent that.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's my daughter too.
Do your
Yeah.
dating, when the water may go through,
So we're
before
actually,
you drill the well.
so we talked about that, with my uncle as well and that side of it, and, basically we want to potentially even add in the hookup that'll be ready. So that way, if
Yeah.
the water easement doesn't come in until after we're built, you're not messing with the foundation or doing
Right.
anything else, you'll just hook it in to the already part there, as the foundation is already settled, and then you just have kind of more both rather than one.
Yeah.
But we've talked about the same thing, it's just a matter of everyone gets the smile when they ask when the water's coming in, so I just gotta. We're planning for the future and then dealing with what we got from there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's your comment on the electrical? Service that's.
Here's
Part of it, yes.
on the drainage.
Nice things
When they
are
dig the
picking up.
electric line, it's gonna be a pound of ditch.
Once we
Whether
get
the
it,
transformer's
that's our
over here anyway.
plan.
And more than likely, RG&E's gonna come up with this one. They're not gonna come up here, so we want to take that off and they have it over here.
That's what I was gonna say, whatever you said, I wanna make sure I understand. So I said,
And you don't want them digging over here, you don't want them electric in an easement. or
You can't, like,
Drainage easement.
If they ever try to clean the ditch.
And I'm like.
When you excavate that, it should be 50 feet from south to. It'll be wet.
Water will go right in.
Drainage with that, will always be saturated.
Ditch will be 4 feet.
So
Yeah.
when I did
Yeah.
this, right, they just.
Maybe in 10 years, you'll be able to mow that in July.
So if there's any key things we decided on,
Oh,
we needed to put that.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm the biggest thing in family, so we're not short of cooks in that kitchen.
Oh. Very good.
All the feedback, and then so it can be like, I like this one,
Yeah, exactly.
this one, no. But thank you guys.
Thanks.
Good luck on the rest of your meeting.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good one.
Almost over.
All right, good night.
Yeah, we can next item on our agenda is public comment. Mr. Public, do you have anything that you would like to say?
Mr. Public.
What?
Discussion, general discussion.
Well, here we go. General discussion. Mr. Public, would you like to speak to us?
Oh, up on the town website, there's the draft. Smoke shop law, there's a public hearing coming up on October 15th.
Okay.
Take a look at that, if you have any comments on it, it's a proposed special use permit. Also, as you may be aware, there was, some concerns over at Mendon Green with stormwater. Some of the, house that was supposed to discharge to the front was discharging to the rear. There was some concerns of stormwater flowing north into the town of Pittsburgh. So this building inspector went out there, did not allow them to get C of O until they fixed it, and they directed it back to the north.
So they fixed it?
They fixed it, yes. Kicking and screaming the whole way, but they fixed it.
I'm sorry, what was the issue?
There were certain houses in Mendon Green that the stormwater connections had to go to the south, road south. They cannot discharge to the north towards the town of Pittsburgh. And they built the house and they discharged it to the north. And then there was some flooding concerns and it flooded. And of course, they said, oh, it's because of that downspout. Well, they switched it out.
Yeah, Pittsburgh wasn't real thrilled about.
No, they weren't real thrilled, but just so you know, building inspector held up on that condition. And we are also driven off of some of these plans similar to this. We're trying to come up with some kind of thresholds of when a site plan has to come back to the planning board to present to you, because it seems to be a lot coming back lately. And I don't know if they always have to. And just present to you guys and see what you think.
Is Corey reviewing before dedication, a maintenance bond or anything after the 2 years? He's doing any of that
For what? For Mendon Green?
for any site?
For any.
Any dedication of roadway,
Dedication of,
Right.
yes.
there's a 2 year maintenance bond. At that point, before the expiration of that bond, is he doing inspections now?
For doing inspections, yes. The last one was Ridings and Mendon. That just came up. And there was an inspection that engineers went out and they inspected it as well.
And what were you talking about of coming back to the planning board when?
Revisions on final site plans,
Like tonight.
like
Okay.
tonight. There seems to be some site plans that are getting revised that are coming back. More than expected. Is that a fair term? Usually when you do a final site plan, you're ready to put a shovel in the ground and start building the house. You don't expect them to come back for change in the aspects of the site plan.
And so what you're saying is, I don't know, I mean,
Correct.
so then they should just be, should the changes that they want to make just be done at the, building inspector level?
Well, I think coming up with a threshold of saying, like this one, it changes the driveway. It changes site distance, that's a public safety. So is that something that has to come back? If you maintain all the stormwater in the stormwater swales that were approved, you're not changing the grading. Does it have to come back to maintaining what the approved stormwater?
So you're saying it could be a resolution, not a complete new.
Yeah, well,
site
it could be an administrative
Got
review,
it.
administrative review in the building.
I'm
department.
thinking of like the Slovacki's barn, like they came back a couple times and then he complained it was expensive.
Well, yeah, but that was.
That wasn't.
I know that, yeah.
Yeah, that was a whole other thing, but I'm thinking, it's similar to this one,
Okay, Okay.
and then, of course, we would present it to the planning board and they're the chair and say, these are what we think acceptable thresholds are to get some buy-in from the planning board.
Anything else, Mr. General discussion? No. Okay, so our next upcoming meeting is October the 16th. We will be missing Earl. We will be missing Nicole. So that would mean we need to make sure that all three of us could be here. So that we have a quorum. Yes, I mean, as far as you know, I mean, obviously, I could get hit by a bus and I wouldn't be here. So, I could have. But,
We still expect you here. though.
yeah.
It comes down to whether or not somebody wants to make a presentation to a 3-member board and take their chances.
Oh,
True too.
so that's the Conklin site plan
is
and
that a big
the,
one?
We don't have to have the quorum for,
3 is.
3 is a quorum.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Raise a quorum.
Just means you only have 3 possible votes and you need 3 votes to pass something. So that's the.
Do you give them the option to wait? Or
I would,
They can wait.
I've never done that.
I would give them the option.
if we give them the option, do we give it to them prior to the meeting then? Knowing that we,
Otherwise, they can wait. If they don't like the decision, they say, we'll come back when there's 5.
well, they can't really do
I mean,
that, though,
I don't
right?
really think that's typically part of the process.
No.
So
I
we're
never know
telling
if
them, this is how many people are gonna be here. Do you wanna? I think it's happened before when we knew. I guess I have to think about that. I think in the first instance, they're already scheduled on the agenda, the meeting's happening. We can come in and see how it goes,
And then give them the option at that time if they wanna come.
I mean,
back.
I think maybe the planning board can decide whether it wants to move forward with a vote without the other members. I think that's really where
Yeah,
the decision
it's up to
should be
them.
made.
We've checked the box. We're three, right?
Yeah.
If you have enough issues, you can have to go back anyway.
If the planning board feels like it would like to wait to make a vote and it has the time under the law to do that. Then I think the planning board would say, you know what, we're not gonna vote tonight. We're missing two members. We really think it's important they're here for this one.
Okay.
But ideally, you would just continue in business as usual because you do have a quorum.
Okay. So, that's Stony Ridge on the 16th and she's,
I will say this. If you move something, if you vote on something, right, if you make a motion to approve an application and there's only three here and only two of you vote yes. That motion to approve did not succeed, right? Some would say that isn't a denial though. It's, you feel your motion failed. So then someone make a motion to deny, right? Which maybe that wouldn't pass either. In which case you could table the application to the next meeting. And then take a vote when you have more people, more members to get three in one way or another. That might be how something like that might go. Does that make sense?
it does make sense, yeah,
It's a little of a bit of a strange way to think of it because it usually doesn't go that way,
right.
but that's sort of how it could play out.
Coming up into the holiday, does anybody else know of any dates you'll miss? Have you looked at the? Just then
Yeah,
Brooke
one
would
in-
know.
One in February, for Valley. I actually resigned from the planning board as of last.
Oh, you
week.
did?
I did.
Oh,
I did, but I'm willing to stay on until Lauren finds a replacement from John, so I'm here until.
oh,
find
thank
one.
you.
I don't wanna leave you hanging. Thank you.
So you technically didn't resign then,
So what would you call it?
looking to
Hang on.
resign,
Looking to
hoping to resign,
Okay,
yes.
That's the good stuff going on in Nicole's life right now. She's
That's
spread thin. And everybody needs her. Okay, so does anyone else here have anything that they would like to add, say, comment on? No? Thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys, everything that you do and keeping on track and everybody's got their little spot of knowledge and I appreciate it. So someone like to make a motion, we adjourn this evening. Nicole. Second. Charlie, very nice. Okay, this meeting is officially adjourned until we meet again. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I say I.
No, you don't have.
Okay, there we go. All right, thanks. I'm always gonna forget the vote. I know. That's why I hit you, Earl.
Oh,
You
Don
can never
voted for
go
you.
away. What would I do?